Today, I want to talk about just how difficult it can be to navigate life when times are good. Now, you'd think that life is much easier to navigate when you don't have problems, but it's actually not necessarily that way. Quite often, when we have a lot of problems, maybe big problems, well, we're so busy trying to solve them, trying to survive, we don't really have time to think about how bad things are, you know? But when things are pretty good, that's when we start to feel sorry for ourselves. We start to criticize others. We start to fall into the trap of being bitter about small things. And, I was thinking about this as I was out walking around a little while ago, just taking in the evening, breathing the cool air on an early summer day, enjoying my evening walk. And I went over and I got my mail out of the mailbox because I hadn't gotten it for a while. And it was a little bit of junk mail, and that was about it. Nothing to worry about there. And I thought about how there have been so many times in my life when I was worried about things, or when maybe there were struggles and there were problems. And now I really don't have any problems. It's not to say life is perfect, but then I think about all the different times in my life when I maybe feel frustrated about something, or I feel like life in some way maybe isn't good enough. And it really is interesting how when things are good, sometimes we struggle still to find peace. And it's important, I think, to put things into perspective, because life changes, and we really should enjoy each season of our lives for what it has to offer. You might have a time in your life when you have abundance, and you should cherish that, because you aren't always going to have abundance. And that could be abundance financially, it could be abundance of time, it could be youth, it could be so many different things where you have blessings today that you won't have tomorrow. And if we spend our time being bitter about small things and feeling like life isn't good enough, then we run the risk of not enjoying all of the blessings we have and not making the best possible use of those seasons of relative peace and abundance. And sometimes we can wind up wasting our time on things that are not edifying, that are not encouraging, that are not positive. I've been thinking about things I want to do, like goals I have to catch up on questing and ESO, for example. I've been playing this game more and making a point to get caught up on some of the story material that I never got around to. And, I think about other things that maybe I've spent time doing, like watching some kind of YouTube content creators talk about the end of the world, or how World War III is going to start next week, or whatever it might be. And there's things that they can take our time, but do they really build us up spiritually? Are they encouraging, or do they just add a little bit of extra noise and chatter, but they don't really give us a sense of peace or of order in our life. When you let go of some of those things and you make a point to be as present as possible with things that actually you find to be encouraging and enriching and positive, that's not to say that you aren't going to step up to the plate and do what you need to do when there's a challenge. Sometimes things happen and then we have to step up and we gotta deal with our challenges. And that's true. However, it's also true that you don't need to make problems for yourself when there otherwise wouldn't be any. And sometimes we do that too. Sometimes we are so, I guess, addicted to having problems that if we don't have problems, then we kind of make them. We find something to complain about. We find something to chase. We find some reason to be restless and to be discontent with the life that we have been given. There's always something to do, something you could work on, some routine you can add to your life that gives you a sense of being grounded. And if you feel like life needs to change, I suppose what I would say is remember that change has a way of finding you, whether you want it to or not. It's kind of like if you were ever young and you were thinking as a child that you wished that you could grow up faster. And when you become an adult later on, then you realize, well, I don't know that I really needed to be so impatient for the future to come, because now maybe I wish I could slow it down a bit. So make the best possible use of every season in your life. Find a reason to be glad for the life you've been given. And don't look for trouble when there isn't any. It's okay to just enjoy your life in a calm, peaceful, and simple way without having a lot of drama, without having a lot of noise. And we live in a time when we tend to always try to be busy. We try to be busy to distract ourselves from inconvenient things. We try to be busy to convince other people, perhaps, that we're important or something of that nature. And I think the truth is that we should just learn to be satisfied having fewer things in our lives. Your life doesn't have to be like a wild action movie. It's okay for your life just to be filled with simple things, that you played a game that you enjoyed, went for a walk, and read a book. You don't have to do a whole lot of things with your life to make it have value. It's okay to just enjoy the day and then go to sleep and get up and do it again. And I think we waste a lot of energy fruitlessly being frustrated about things in life, not because there's really anything wrong, but because it's in our culture to be that way. So make a point to be content and understand that your life is enough just the way it is. Like, you don't have to do anything more to make your life have substance and meaning. I think there's a lot of liberty to be had in realizing that your life is good enough as it is without feeling like you have to try to jam more content into it. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, I also think it is remarkably hard to to be at peace when life is good, just because it's so difficult for us to be mindful, for us to be content with silence and open spaces that's not filled with something. So learn to be content with silence. You don't have to fill up every minute of every day with some kind of content. You don't have to dabble in every single thing that was ever made. It's okay to just simplify your tastes and your goals and, let your life be quiet. Don't try to fill it up with noise. I play different computer games, and what I've found is that there's a few of them that I enjoy for different reasons, and I've bought so many of them. Every time there's a Steam sale or I see some trailer for one I think is cool, I wind up buying it. And there's a lot of amazing games I haven't played. The truth is, I don't really need to. Even though they're amazing games. The truth is, there's probably half a dozen of them that I actually enjoy the most, and those are the ones I always come back to. And does that mean that potentially I'm going to miss out maybe on some of those titles? Well, maybe. And that's all right. Because life isn't a race to see if you can somehow complete everything there is to do. Sometimes it's okay to just do something you enjoy. And if you spent your time doing something you enjoy, then that's enough. Learning to let life be what it is without trying to fill up all of the empty space with some kind of noise, some kind of distraction. Isn't it true that we have so much to distract us with in the world? Always a never-ending Facebook feed and news feed and YouTube recommended video list and on and on and on. And there's always a problem to solve at work, and there's always some kind of drama to immerse yourself in, and always a reason to feel like you need to find the answer for what more you can add and fit into your busy day. And quite often what we need is not to add more, not to think about things more, but to just be more at peace with things as they are and stop trying to add always more content into our life. Cheers to living a peaceful and quiet life. If you are lucky enough to live a quiet and peaceful life, don't curse against it, because you never know. Even if we try to live our lives peacefully and quietly, I suppose there will come a time when we have to face challenges that we don't anticipate. So if you have a good day without a lot of trouble in it, give thanks for it. Because peace is not assured to any of us. There's so much conflict in the world and challenges that other people have to face, I think. Very important for us to be thankful for the relative peace we have in our lives if we are privileged enough to be in a place in our lives or in a part of the world where we can have a sense of safety and security and not have to worry so very much. I think we owe it to ourselves not to create an environment of stress and worry if we don't need to. Good luck on your adventures always. Till next time, thanks for watching.